We're just fascinated with it, aren't we? I'm fascinated with it, even before this project. I mean, I loved Cameron's film. I love the history of it. I don't know what it is about. It's something that we haven't been able to close the book on.
It's come to represent the end of that world. I mean, the First World War was just coming 2 years later, and the extraordinary pride and vanity of the empires that were reigning at that time, and they all thought it could never end. You know, this was sort of the perfect world. We finally reached it, and in fact, it was all about to explode. And somehow, the Titanic carries in its heart that disaster in miniature, really.
But I mean, it's a historical moment, and it's fascinating, both because of how tragic it was, but also because of the contrast between how luxurious some of parts of the Titanic were, and what an ambitious project it was, and how it completely fell apart.
But it is endlessly fascinating. I mean, all the museums I've been to, and I've seen the little trinket bottles that they've found at the bottom of the sea. It'll be endlessly intriguing, I think, always.
None of us really want to believe that things can be doomed, but when you look at the story of the Titanic, it's hard not to say it was doomed, and everybody on it. Because even if you survived it, you know, the people that did survive heard the cries of the people that didn't.
The horror of something like that, the horror of being involved in something. We're all keenly aware of that on the back burner every time we get on a plane or we get on a boat or we get, you know, there's always that sense of that it's almost like a mythic version of that fear that we all have.
It is in the same way as that people would say that 9/11 has this profound effect on people. I think that in its own far, far smaller way, Titanic had the same effect, but one should remember, in fact, that with 9/11, 3,000 people died, with the Titanic, 1,500 people died, half that amount.
In a way, it was a boat full of dreams, people going towards a new life, waiting for things to happen, for life to be beautiful. Maybe just in their minds, but that was the energy or part of it, and it was destroyed by this iceberg, this big tragedy.
It wasn't just this one thing of them hitting the iceberg and it coming in. It was also, you know, the fact that they had set up this sort of thing as a Titanic being the unsinkable ship. People had that so firmly. It was such an act of hubris, wasn't it? And people had that so firmly lodged in their consciousness, they actually couldn't believe it.
Everybody thought it was, you know, unsinkable, and that it was nothing bad could possibly happen, and that you were the luckiest person in the world if you got a ticket to board it, and that general hysteria and excitement, and like, we're so lucky, and then cut to 3 days later and we were the unluckiest people in the world.
It's just an event that nobody thought would happen, and it happened.